Hey Phil, this is Manny Marino with Duwood Sun. Just thought I'd make a very quick video for you on how to assemble this chair and walk you through the process, the stain maintenance, and all that good stuff. And you'll just reference this video on the assembly because in a few minutes I'll pause the video and take it completely apart, put it in a box, send you a YouTube video. But again, this is your Don't Mess with Texas chair. Thank you so much for the purchase, and I apologize for the delay. Interestingly enough, when I was painting, I painted it the first time I sent you a picture, and then I wanted to put a spar urethane over the back, over the paint, and I went out to dinner. I left it outside, and it rained, and so I got moisture underneath. So I had to completely sand it and start over. So that was not fun. And anyway, so I got it done. The entire chair, all my chairs are made out of redwood cedar. So as far as like maintenance, I used a golden pecan right over the cedar. So it's an oil-based stain, fully stained. You could leave it outside. You don't have to worry about the elements. I know you're in Texas, you don't have to deal with winter, but in the event that you leave it in the elements or in the sun, I might recommend just staining it once a year to kind of keep it fresh. But again, it's called Golden Pecan. Sorry, you can't really see it. Golden Pecan oil-based stain. That's what I use. And then if you wish to, I want to talk to you about this one. This is the Spar urethane. It's a water-based. I use a satin finish. Now, I recommend to put it over the paint, right? The paint is an acrylic outdoor paint, but the thing with the cedar or with the urethane, it's going to leave it glossy. And so I'm not sure if you want that or like that look. Only do it over the painted part. It's not necessary to do it over the cedar wood. But that's a total option for you. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was the back, right? So the back is completely natural, right? I didn't do anything, but some customers, I recommend doing the same stain, or you could put a poly over it if you'd like. But that's what the back looks like. And with cedar, it's smooth on one side, that's the finished side, and the rough side is always the back. But anyway, so here's a quick walkthrough before I pause the video and take it completely apart. Let me give you a side view. So with the chairs, is obviously it's going to come apart, right? The back, the complete back is going to be all in one piece, right? So that is actually the last piece that you're going to put on. But the first thing that you're going to assemble, right, is your seat slats. So on a flat surface, it's a 2x6, right? So there's going to be the one on each side, right and left. And there's also going to be a 2x6 back brace that sits in between them. Underneath each of these, I call them seat slats, starting with the Don't Mess with Texas. I'm going to have them numbered underneath on the right side, right? So looking at the chair, it's right to left. Laying the 2x6 flat on a surface, right? You're going to start off with board number 1, right? Completely flush, you can see that. And then just make them tight 1 through 7 all the way back, right? So again, look for the numbers 1 through 7. I'll also have them numbered on this 2x6. So just kind of follow that. The other thing is with all of the all of these are screwed or pre-drilled, excuse me, and these are all 2-inch, right? They're all 2-inch screws, torque screws to be exact. I'll have the hardware for you in the bag. So that's how you assemble the seat. Right, again, right, left, 1 through 7. The second thing that you're going to put on, the second and third thing, are your legs. Your front legs are going to have the outside support. Again, look for the right labeled inside, right, left on the front, and then the back legs are going to be a little bit different because they have the 2x4 is going to have like an angle, right? And so there's your right, and then there's your left. In between the back legs is going to be the back support, right? This here is going to be a 21-inch board. The rest of these seat slats are 24 inches, right? So they're 2 feet. So it's the only one that's small. These fit right in between. And one thing to point out is when you are assembling this to the back brace, right? It's It's probably better to see it from this side. One of the things that I recommend or that you'll need to do is do not go all the way to the top, right? If that makes sense, because if you do, it's going to actually, I take it back. It'll bump up the arm, right? So you probably have a quarter of an inch from the top. You just screw it down because we don't want it interfering with the levelness of the arm, right and left. So that's the back brace. And so because this is a really wide back, I actually had to put an extra support, right, to make the arm swing out a little bit because this would just the Texas is a little too big. So that's just kind of a note to myself to make the backs a little bit small, but I really don't because I love the how big and wide the backs are, especially for Texas. All my other chairs actually don't have that extra brace. But anyway, front legs, back legs, right, left, right? And then fourth step is obviously to attach the lag bolts. You're going to need a 9/16 socket, which make things easier for you. And you'll have two on each side, one in the back, and they'll always go from outside in. And then it goes lag bolt, washer, lock nut, nut. All right, 9/16 is going to help you out. So just make those finger tight. And then the last thing, and then the next thing that you put on the arms, right? So again, I'm going to have them labeled. The backs are and the holes are pre-drilled. And those go from the top to the bottom. One thing that I wanted to point out is on the top. Now I didn't screw these all the way down because I knew I was going to take this apart, but they'll all come with some sawdust and some wood plugs. Now you have a choice. You can either because they're all countersunk, right? You can have these coated torque bits just go flush with the arm, or you countersink them as far as you can with the drill bit, fill it in with sawdust, and then pound this in there, right? The wood plugs. So you're gonna have two wood plugs here on right side, left side, right side, and then the other two that you're gonna fill in, the other wood plugs are gonna be these two, the back brace, right? So right now I just have them flush because again, I'm taking this apart, but you can countersink them if you wish. Or I mean, they're countersunk, screw them in as deep as you can, fill it with sawdust, and then fill in the holes. So, and then the last thing that goes on is your back, the Texas back. And one thing that I wanted to point out is that this is going to be a snug fit because it's such a wide back that, again, as I mentioned earlier, I had to wide out the brace just to make room for the back because it's just so happens that the distance between here is just a little bit wide. But that just slips right in, right? And then you'll see by the design of my back, all of these are braced, of course, to keep the back together, but this acts as a stop down here in the bottom, right? So you just center it, right? Go all the way to the bottom. And then the last thing that you're going to do is underneath it, there's going to be 3 screws. I call it the tail of the, let me tip it back a little bit. I call it the tail, oh, you can't see it, it's really dark, of the back, and then that keeps it from shifting over time, and those get 3 on the back. So as far as the screws are concerned, everything on this chair takes a 2-inch screws, right? The seats, the arms, and then underneath the tail. The only ones that take the smaller 1 1/4 torque screws are the ones in the back, right? There's going to be a total of 12. You can't miss it. And then another word of caution is because it's a 1/4 inch, you want to be careful not to go in too deep here because we don't want the back of the screw going into the back of the back, if that makes sense. So just word of caution, you don't have to glue it down. This will be really snug with 12 of those torque screws holding it in place. So that is pretty much the walkthrough assembly process. I'll pause the video and just kind of just high level, just spend another 30 seconds and just do another quick overview. But that's pretty basic. I mean, how you assemble the chair. Again, it's Manny 612-423-1468. If you have absolutely any questions whatsoever, let me know. Oh, as far as paint, that's right, I forgot to tell you. So these are the paints that I use. I just get at a craft store. Again, they're outdoor acrylic paint, the red, the blue, and the white. So in the event that you need to touch that up, feel free, right? Depending on how much sun over time, I'm sure it'll fade because it is paint. I also put the stain, which I used the Golden Pecan. I went over the blue and red colors, right? Just protect it even further because it's okay to put stain over the paint because it's clear anyway. The only thing I didn't is on the white, because if you put this oil-based stain on white paint, it kind of turns yellowy. So, but you could do clear coat if you wish, if you want that look, and that's that spar, that water-based polyurethane, as I mentioned before. So I hope I probably repeated myself a few extra times, but again, I'm going to pause the video here shortly and then just show you all the pieces all taken apart.